Today we are not going to focus on anything in Chennai, but we are going to go to Chengalpet, to the village of Madhurantakam, to visit the Eri Katha Rama temple, Rama who protected the tank from breach. Let us see what we have in store for us in this episode. Madhurantakam is a small village in Chengalpet district. It is a very ancient village. It takes its name from Madhurantaka Uttama Chola, the 10th century Chola king. It is said that he gave this entire village to a set of Brahmin families so that they could practice and recite the Vedas over here, and it was known as Madhurantaka Chaturvedi Mangalam. Madhurantaka itself was the title of the Chola king, and it really showed the enmity that the Cholas had to the Pandyas who were ruling from Madurai. Uttama Chola had apparently invaded Madurai and destroyed it, and that is how he got the name Madhurantaka, the man who destroyed Madurai. And he gave this village, and that is how people came and settled over here. In the midst of this village, there is this Rama temple. From the idol of Rama, which is large and in stucco, it would appear that the temple actually predated the arrival of Uttama Chola, for it would appear to be of Pallava origin, because Kanchipuram has similarly large idols made of stucco of Pallava origin in it. In the sanctum, you have a beautifully tall 8 feet height Rama flanked by Lakshmana and Sita. But the more interesting episode is connected with the sanctum of Lakshmi, who is known as Janakavalli Tayar in this temple. In the 18th century, this entire area, the Jagir of Chengalpet, came under the control of the East India Company, and Lionel Place was made the collector of that Jagir. When he came here in the 1790s, he got to know that the vast tank known as the Madhurantakam Eri, which is very close to this temple, was prone to breach during the rainy season, and it would flood the surrounding areas. The Madhurantakam tank itself, incidentally, goes back to Chola times, because the Chola kings were really pioneers in the building of irrigation tanks and converting various areas into arable and fertile pasture lands. Chengalpet itself was one of the best known such localities because of the number of tanks in it, and Madhurantakam was one of the significant tanks in that area. Now, Lionel Place was concerned about the fact that the walls of the tank were old and that they could breach when the rains come. And he began to look for large granite boulders that could be brought to buttress the tank walls. And he found a large quantity of dressed granite in the courtyard of the Eri Katha Rama temple. He asked the villagers as to why those boulders could not be used to protect the tank walls. And they requested him to let the boulders be alone, because they said they had been brought to build a sanctum for the goddess Lakshmi. Lionel Place then jocularly asked them whether Rama would protect the tank. And they, in all simple faith, said yes. The monsoons came, they were quite heavy, the tank had filled, and it looked as though a breach of the bund was imminent at any point of time. But miraculously, the rain stopped, the tank did not breach. Lionel Place was overwhelmed with gratitude, and he believed that Lord Rama had protected the temple. He then decided to build the sanctum of the goddess himself. Using the granite and spending some funds from the East India Company, he got the sanctum of Janakavalli built within the temple. And even today, when you go to visit the sanctum of Janakavalli, if you look up at the lintel, you will find that his munificence has been recorded in stone. The Rama shrine itself has got a beautiful set of Utsava icons or processional icons of Rama, Lakshmana, Sita and Anjaneya. It also has Karunakara Perumal, another processional icon flanked by Sri Devi and Bhudevi. When you come around this particular temple, you come to a 4-pillared mandapam in one corner. And that is where sage Ramanuja met his guru Periyanambi. That historical meeting is commemorated in this pavilion. By far, the most interesting aspect of this temple is the pavilion that flanks or fronts the Rama shrine. It has 16 or 20 pillars in it, and you can make out that each pillar was dressed and carved at a different point of time in history. You can also make out that several of the pillars have been left incomplete. You still have the chisel markings of the stonemasons indicating what the design would have been had the stone pillar been completed. But they had all been put together and the pavilion had come up sometime in the 18th or the 19th century. It is also in this pavilion that you find a set of Tyagaraja compositions inscribed in granite and let into the walls. And then you see the name of Postal Sundaram. That is a very significant but completely unknown name in Carnatic music history. In the 1950s, Sundaram was working in the postal department. He happened to go to Varanasi, where he saw the Tulsi Manas Mandir and saw that the entire Ramcharit Manas of Tulsidas had been inscribed on the walls. And he thought that a similar exercise ought to be done at the Tyagaraja Samadhi in Tiruvallur. He came back and began his work with a complete determination and gusto that is mind-boggling. He collected 1 rupee donation from whomever he met. Some people came forward to give a lot more. And over a period of time, that pavilion fronting the Tyagaraja Samadhi was completed, and in it, in marble, the compositions of Tyagaraja were all inscribed. Much later, after that exercise was over, Sundaram Iyer happened to be attending a performance of the renowned Harikatha exponent T.S. Balakrishna Shastrigal. He was expounding on the Ramayana, and when he finished, he sang 10 compositions of Tyagaraja to illustrate the coronation of Rama. Sundaram Iyer used the surplus funds that he had for inscribing those 10 compositions and brought them to the Eri Katha Rama temple and had them fixed on the walls. It is amazing what one man could do when he set about it with determination. Sadly, we don't even have a photograph of Sundaram Iyer with us today. Coming out of the temple, you see a beautiful tank filled with water. When the Madhurantakam tank is close by, how can this not have water in it? The entire area is lush with greenery and presents the image of a peaceful little village. If you haven't been to the Eri Katha Rama temple and to Madhurantakam, you must go and do so as soon as possible. See you again in subsequent episodes. Bye for now.